Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Here.
Ms. Belisca? Present. Mrs. McKnight?
Here.
Mayor Morgan?
Here.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Here.
Mr. Kogan?
Here.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Here.
Let's salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's a public meeting of Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given. In accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, that annual notice or revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Tonight we have some proclamations, and we love when the kids come. So Debbie, why don't you come up, and Nadine and Lisa, you guys are instrumental in the mental health advocacy committee.
So a huge thank you to the parents and the students for hanging out a little longer than we thought tonight. We thought this was at 7, so I apologize that it's at 7:30. And I'm proud of you students for hanging in there and being patient. I also am absolutely just thrilled to see these poster contest winners and what they were able to create and we asked them to illustrate what it means to be kind to your mind, and the creativity is off the charts. So I can't wait for you to see them. The way this is going to work, I'm going to announce the winner by grade, and then you'll come up. Bill's going to give you your poster. You can show it to the crowd and then walk up here, and Mayor Morgan is going to give you a little plaque, and then we'll take a picture with all of the students up here. And then we have a little prize for you as you leave, okay? And then the mayor's going to read the proclamation, and after that, the students and families can stay if you want, but you're welcome to leave. Okay, so our first winner in kindergarten, Arabella Powers. Here she is. Get your poster, sweetie. And show it to everyone. And our first grade winner, Bennett Cuomo. Show everybody your poster. Lift it up high. Lift it up high so they can see. Our second grade winner, Sierra Kazub. Did I say it right? Our third grade winner from Saltbrook, Isha Narayana. Our third grade winner from AWR, Penelope Ninos. Our fourth grade winner, Anika Camra. And our fifth grade winner, Maria Katerina Vazbolman. And our 6th grade winner, Shraddha Anapu. And I'd also like to bring up 2 honorable mentions in attendance, the siblings of Bennett and Shraddha. 3rd grade, Smriti Anapu, and 4th grade, Isabella Bella Cuomo.
Debbie. In the front. Debbie. Two rows. Let the kids. And everybody take a step to the left.
You guys will take 2 steps this way. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1 step back. 1 step back. How's that? Is that good?
Now go here and here.
All right, thank you all. You can walk over here and we can get your little prize, all right, on the way out.
You know, we just came from outside, and there was mayors from various towns, council people, and it actually, in my 20 years of doing this, it's the first time where I've seen 10 towns work together for a common cause. And it's, how's that?
Better.
But it's truly, truly remarkable. And I got to hand it to Lisa, Nadine, and Debbie Merrick here for getting this off the ground. And it's been a long 4 years. And I know you put a lot of work into it. You know, after COVID, there's been a lot of, everybody was cooped up. A lot of people were thinking all these different things. It was really a tough time for everybody. And there were a lot of things that people shouldn't have been doing that they did do, and it all contributed to mental health. But I've talked to Debbie about this, is what concerns me even more is the social media out there and how kids get very courageous. In fact, not only kids, but adults get very courageous behind a keyboard. And, you know, we have to treat each other with respect. And when we do that, we'll be a lot better off. So I just want to thank you, Debbie, and Nadine, and Lisa, for what you've done. We got to make this font a little bigger.
Does he want my reading glasses?
Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being. And whereas mental illness are real and prevalent in our nation. And half of us will have mental health diagnosis at some point in our lives. And whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives. and should feel comfortable in seeking help and support to manage these times. And whereas engaging in prevention, early identification, and early intervention are effective ways to reduce the burden of mental illnesses, as they are to reduce the burden of other chronic conditions. And whereas there is a strong body of research that identifies behavioral health risks and supports specific tools that all Americans can use to protect their health and well-being. And whereas with effective treatment before stage 4, all individuals with mental illnesses, even serious mental illnesses, can make progress towards recovery and lead full, productive lives. And whereas, a lot of whereases, jails and prisons have often become the default places of custodial care for even nonviolent people with serious mental illnesses. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizens have a responsibility to promote mental health and well-being for all. We, the mayors of New Providence, Berkeley Heights, Summit, Chatham, Fanwood, Long Hill, Madison, Mountainside, Scotch Plains, and Westfield, unite together to proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in our respective boroughs, towns, and cities. We stand united to reduce the stigma of mental health by recommitting our communities to increase awareness and understanding of mental health. The steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health and need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illnesses. We call upon the citizens, government, agencies, and public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to join us in this mission. Thank you very much. I want to thank the students. Great posters.
Debbie, take a picture of the proclamation. And Donna. Proclamation. And Bill. And Bill. Alex.
Alex, you want to grab the camera?
Alex. With the proclamation.
There, Andy, got a walk, huh?
I'll call you about the ribbon.
Hold on, what?
Thank you,
You
everyone.
guys can all go.
Or stay. Unless you have a good question about taxes, you can stay.
Or JCP&L presentation. Yeah. It's a good way to get them to go right to sleep. Oh, they are so cute.
Hold on, wait.
A picture with the poster outside, we can do that, okay? Let's go out there. That'd be nice.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Oh, the sign?
And that reminds me of Donnie and Marie. Good night, everybody.
I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there after 9:30.
You have a good memory.
Thanks, Frank. Thank you.
I remember the show.
I used to watch it with my grandma. Then the Lawrence Walk shows after that.
From where? Something JT.
Is he here? Okay, come on up.
Two of my favorite people in Providence. So,
There's karate fans on.
yeah.
Oh.
This is proclamation is for martial arts for life, and we're celebrating your anniversary of being in business. And before I start, my daughter was a student with you guys a few years ago, and she actually attained the rank of black belt, which I know she's very proud of, and now she's going to be getting out of PA school, I guess, in a year. So you guys taught her well.
Thank you.
Whereas martial arts for life, located at 1260 Springfield Avenue in New Providence, is a family-oriented martial arts school that offers training for men, women, teens, and children. The school serves students from age 5 to over 65 years old. Leaves me out. Martial arts for life also offers a diverse physical curriculum that includes martial arts such as jiu-jitsu and Thai boxing. And whereas martial arts for life has been serving New Providence and surrounding areas since 2005. The school was founded by Richard and Michelle Bruger of Mountainside, New Jersey. Richard is a master instructor who has been training in martial arts since 1993 and teaching since 1995. Michelle is a 3rd-degree black belt and has been training with martial arts since 1996. And whereas Martial Arts for Life promoted their first group of students to 1st-degree black belt in November 2009, and has since promoted a total of 195 students to the rank of 1st-degree black belt, 58 students to 2nd-degree black belt, and 8 students to 3rd-degree black belt. Whereas life skills and character education curriculum taught at Martial Arts for Life was featured in Success Magazine and 4 articles of best practices for school owners by co-owner Richard Bruger, and has been featured in MA Success Magazine and publication of Martial Arts Industry Association. And whereas not only are they active in martial arts community, but they are very active in the local business community. In fact, Michelle, you were president for years. Michelle was president of the New Providence Business and Professional Association for a decade, and also a member of the New Providence Downtown Improvement District. And whereas Martial Arts for Life has been dedicated to community involvement and charitable organizations, raising over $75,000 since 2012 for the New Providence-based New Jersey Sharing Network Foundation via the Martial Arts for Life 5K team. The school has also raised over $10,000 since 2014 for local schools and parent-teacher associations through their annual Skills for School fundraiser, which donates 100% of funds raised. Now therefore I, Anna Morgan, Mayor of the Borough of Providence, County Union, State of New Jersey, hereby honor Martial Arts for Life for their 20th anniversary for making a difference in the Providence community. And I have to say, truly, I have seen the difference that you have made over the years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Somebody's getting old. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
That's
so
great.
much.
Take care.
Thank
Love
you.
you guys. You too.
Now we're going to do some karate moves and break boards.
There you go. 20 more years. 20 more years. Let's go. Aha.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Bob Flynn from JCP&L. Welcome, Bob.
Is it okay if I sit or you?
Please do. Make yourself at home.
Just pull the microphone back.
Sure. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name's Bob Flynn. I am with Jersey Central Power and Light. I've been with the company now for almost 6 years. Home district's up in Boonton, New Jersey. That was my main line shop when I started. Now I encompass pretty much a good chunk of the northern part of the state. So myself and Amy Overman split the north, but I have Morris, Passaic, Essex, Union County, and Somerset at the moment. So I'm your new rep. So you may have worked with Carol Bianchi or Yolanta Maziar, Rob Walton. Those may be familiar names to you, but I'm moving a little bit further south now. So what we're doing is kind of introducing ourselves to towns before the start of summer storm season. And today's topic is obviously not as great as the proclamations you just delivered, but it's important information that we want to give to our customers, to our elected officials, so they understand what's coming in June. So I'll jump right in, and then we can open if there's questions afterwards. But I'm going to stick to the PowerPoint pretty strictly because there is a lot of numbers in there and data. But it is, everything I'm speaking on today is on our social media page if there's any desire to post that for residents. We'll jump right in. You can go to the next one too. So there is, what we're talking about today, and I'll preface actually before I start the presentation, is we did send an email to our elected officials and customers. If it's okay, I'll just read that briefly, just so that's on record. All right, and then of course it just went away. Give me 1 second, excuse me. So the topic for today is Basic Generation Service, or BGS as we're calling it. And as you know, JCP&L is your electricity provider. However, we are not in generation anymore, so we don't make power as a utility company. We go to the market like some of the other big utilities within the state. And there is a increase in that charge that we are trying to get ahead of as much as we can with our towns and our customers so people understand it. But the background is on February 12th, the BPU announced the results of the BGS, or the Basic Generation Service auction. They, as a reminder, the customers have 2 charges that appear on their bill, which we showcase in this slide right here. I'll touch on in a minute. But there is the supply charge for the cost of the actual electricity consumed, so the consumption charge, as well as the delivery charge. The delivery charge is the BGS that I'm going to be discussing for tonight. So the results of the BPU BGS auction determined that the electricity supply costs for customers who do not choose a third-party supplier due to rising supply costs, the typical New Jersey resident customer using 777 kilowatts per hour in their house will see a 19.9% increase. And that is driven by external market factors, including higher demand and increased capacity costs from limited generation growth. JCP&L obviously understands that these are a concern to our customers and residents within the state. As a delivery company, we don't generate or set the price of the electricity supply. New Jersey's deregulated market separates supply costs from delivery charges, which is what the breakdown is here on the bill. JCP&L simply delivers the electricity, collects the supply costs on behalf of the supplier, which is PJM, if you're familiar with that name. And this is not a proposed rate hike from us as your utility, and that's what we want to be clear on with our customers and elected officials. And obviously, there's a couple slides in here we'll go on. There are some options that people can shop around for a third-party supplier that they can use, as well as evening their bill out throughout the year, et cetera. So I'll touch on those, but customers and our elected officials did receive that email at the beginning of March. So this is a bill breakdown. If you get a paper bill still, this is what your bill will look like. At the top here are the charges that you use at your house, what you consume, your electricity. The supplier charges are the cost of the electricity itself, so that's the BGS. That's the 19.9% increase. And again, there's no markup as we are your delivery service. We are just passing that cost back to the generators, which is PJM. Next slide. So the last rate increase we had was June 1st of 24. It was a 3.6% increase for our base rate. It's pretty standard with all the utilities in the state. It's usually around anywhere between 3 and 5%, and that goes into, you know, building infrastructure, forestry, those sort of capital projects that we have as utilities. And pretty standard. It's not every year. But we haven't filed one since June 2024. The supply rates, again, the BGS was an 8.7% increase from that auction. This year, again, 19.9. What I want to be clear though on is the bottom bullet point, the BPU. We've heard a couple towns issue comments about that. The BPU only has to verify that the auction is consistent with market trends. They don't oversee the amount per customer, et cetera. They just have to certify it. But the BGS default rate for non-shopping customers will be that 19.9%. Again, no markup from JCP&L as the utility, but we pass that cost back to the supplier. Rates are determined by a competitive auction, a commodity auction, obviously influenced by external market conditions. We've had a lot of generation stations on the eastern seaboard that have been shut down, decommissioned, converted, et cetera. And we've also, in parallel to that, seen a large increase in data centers, AI, et cetera. So there's a big demand for those new facilities right now, which is that, in addition to external market factors, is driving that 19.9% increase. So again, the breakdown, this is, I think, on the back of your bill, the top green circle is how much you're using per month, how much consumption, kilowatts per hours. The second is how we read your meter. That will change a bit. That's on the next slide, but we are implementing and will finish at the end of 25 the full implementation in the state of our 1.1 million customers for smart meters. They are not required. Customers can opt out of them, but they do have to pay to basically keep a meter reader to be employed to still go read their meter physically. But it is an option. They don't have to do that if it's something they don't want to do. And I think the charge, if they don't want to convert to smart meters, is around $11 extra per month. And then there's obviously at the bottom the comparisons and the average use that you have. But that we had a big portion during COVID where we did do a lot of estimated reading. We would look at your bills for the last 5 years and estimate what you use at your house. Obviously, we didn't anticipate the amount of work from home that we would have, so there was a lot of customers that received an estimated bill that was a bit higher than they were thinking. But if we did overestimate and there was provided a real meter reading from the customer, et cetera, we would go back and, you know, credit their account. So that'll go away with smart meters, though. They're real-time technology, but I think that's the next slide, so I'll touch on it's the one after this. So consumption rates and the impact on bills this winter. We had the highest residential consumption in 6 years. The total residential consumption went up by 8.4%. Non-electric heat customers up by 5%. Electric heat customers up by 11%. At the same time, customers are using energy, using more energy, and that obviously has increased the demand for the service for the customers. So that's an 8.6% impact from supply rates and a 3.6% impact from the delivery rates. The impact of the increased rates and increased consumption on bills is 21.1% for non-electric heat customers, and electric heat customers is 28.5% 1st January 2024. This was our coldest January. I think, what does it say? It's 22nd coldest on record, 5 degrees below average. In parallel with that, we also had an extremely high heat summer. I think we had 3 months straight of either 90-something% humidity with 85 to 95 degree weather. So that took a toll on our system as well as the consumption and demand from our substations. So smart meters, there is no correlation. This is something we hear often, but there is no correlation between smart meters and increased electric consumption. These have been rigorously tested through the supplier that we use throughout First Energy's footprint, which is 10 states. I believe they're certified by EEI as well. But it was a terrible time to install them when you have the hottest summer and with this, fifth coldest winter or whatever the status was, because a lot of customers anticipated that was due to that smart meter being installed. These are tested rigorously, obviously, I mentioned before, by the National Standards Institute. They are certified equipment. New meters and old legacy meters are tested as well. We did compare bills. We had team members internally in external affairs who still had the legacy meters, which was the spinning dial that you would see. It was the same consumption amount, same, relatively for the same square footage house. So we did our own kind of testing on it. But there are a lot of benefits to smart meters, especially from my perspective. What I do with external affairs a lot is coordination with municipalities in regards to restoration efforts. Smart meters are a game changer for us, where the old system, we used to rely upon, our mapping system as well as where our customers are. You get a call from, let's say, a street that has 50 customers on it. You get a call from one house that's fed by one transformer, another one from across the street from a different transformer, then one at the end. We would basically lump the outage together and be like, this is bigger, this is 70, to 110 customers, et cetera. You'd have to rely upon people to call in, and sometimes you don't get that. Especially with our service territory, it's a bit different. Like, you go down the shore, half the towns that we represent down there don't have people who live in them in the summertime. So you may get an outage that 15 people call in, but it's 2,000. So this is by far a more efficient system for also reducing truck rolls for us, wrench time. We are able to accurately ping the meters from our work vehicles, so the bucket trucks as well as the foreman. When the full implementation is completed, and we have the cell signals up, because that's how they communicate back. It's a mesh network, but it's cell signal. Once we have that fully operational at the end of this year, we will be able to actively go to outage locations and ping meters to see where we're getting power, where we're not, to see if it's a bigger outage or is it just the service line that got hit on your house and pulled the meter off. So that'll improve restoration efforts as well as our efficiency pretty greatly. So we're excited about that, but that'll be completed at the end of the year. Managing your bill, these are some of the tips that we have and some of the organizations that you can go to. On the next slide, so we have Energy Save program, which is energysavenj.com. You can get rebates for appliances, recycling. Had a neighbor put a fridge in the other week. I think he got like $100, which was pretty good. We have the Home Energy Analyzer tool, so that is live, but will be even better as we finish the smart meter rollout. We have HVAC rebates, whole home energy solutions, home weatherization, and online marketplace. Energy efficiency was transferred from the BPU to the utilities as of last year. So we have two contractors, TRC and Willdan, that we use, one for commercial industrial, one for residential. But if you use Google or Bing or whatever your search engine is, you can search JCP&L energy efficiency, and those links will come up that you can fill out the application for, that someone will reach out to you. Energy efficiency tips, though, obviously reducing air leaks, utilizing ceiling fans, controlling radiant heat, convection oven good, crock pots better, LED light bulbs. Obviously, that's a big one I get from municipalities now is, we have a gymnasium we want to convert. It hasn't been updated in 20 years. Can we do LED lighting, et cetera? So there are some benefits for municipalities that are interested in converting facilities as well, and you can get that energy efficiency evaluation from our contractors. And then obviously dishwashers over hand washing dishes. I lived in apartments too long to want to do that again, so I'll stick with dishwashers. And then these are some of the programs that we have for billing assistance. They're listed on the left here. Again, all of these are on social media if you want to post them, or if customers want to go to JCP&L's Facebook page. They are posted, but these are the people we work with. 211's a great resource, obviously, and then we do have the information on this slide on our website at jcp-l.com/assistance, or you can call the 1-800 number, which is listed below there. I didn't touch it, you don't have to go back the slide, but the one bullet point at the top, which is a good one, and may be beneficial starting in June, is the equal payment plan. I have a lot of towns, a lot of customers that use that and speak highly of it. It just evens your payments out for the 12 months, and you still see the consumption, you still see all the information on your regular bill, but there's no surprises where, you may get a $600 bill in June and a $200 in February. So it evens it out throughout the year. And we will be working with this BGS as well for that. And then there is the option for customers. They don't have to stick with us as the supplier. If they would like to go to a third-party supplier, they're more than welcome to do that. There are a lot of them out there, but what we do recommend is you do your research. Plan structure, introductory rate terms, all of the kind of terms and conditions that come with them. Just be very cognizant of what you're signing up for, because we do hear the other side of the story where you got a good rate the first year, second year it went up, and now you're 7% higher than what the JCP&L customer is paying. So just be very cognizant of what you're signing on to, as well as the contract length and the charges and fees that come with the third-party suppliers.
That was one question I had. You're not stuck with one supplier.
Correct. Yeah. If you don't do anything, we remain your supplier. Again, there's no markup. We don't make any money on this BGS charge. We're just passing it back to PJM. But that's what I wanted to talk about today and kind of get ahead of, so that way you understood it. It's starting June 1st. So if there's information you want to put out there, I can coordinate that with you, and et cetera. But it is a big concern for us. Obviously, there's a lot of seniors who live in the state who want a fixed income. This is a concern for us, and we are in communication, obviously, with the BPU daily, with our legislators daily. But we wanted to get ahead of this so that our customers are aware when they see their bill in June and July, there will be a pretty significant change to that.
Robert, I have a few questions.
Sure.
On the BGS, the rate that you're passing through, that you do the auction, how many bidders do you get for that? Do you have any
That
idea?
I don't
That-
know. No, that's done from a completely different department with,
And-
and it's done First Energy wide. It's not just.
And do you guys have any breakdowns of how much of the power has to come from wind, solar, coal?
Yeah, so PJM has that on their website. It's actually on their homepage, and PJM's background is, I don't work for them. I know what I know from working in the utility, but it was, I think, initially called Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland. They've since expanded, and I think they cover now 13 states across the eastern seaboard. So they supply power to a lot of the big utilities on the coast here.
And a selfish question for the borough,
Sure.
because we're going through our silver certification for Sustainable Jersey now. Any part of that power have any renewable energy credits as part of that, or you have to buy those separately?
Let me get back to you on that,
Okay.
because I'm not 100% positive.
We'll take the credit if we can.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, it's a big impact and a big area that they cover. So there's a lot of states that are going to be feeling that. But PJM's website, the breakdown that they have, you can go to it. It's particularly interesting in summer months. It's basically like a rotating pie
Sure,
chart.
yeah.
So 10% nuclear today, 5% wind.
And how often is that auction? Is that every year? You
Every
guys
year.
every year.
Every year.
Gotcha. So as more plants come online, if you want an optimistic outlook, the more suppliers there are, the better the rates will be. But vice
Yeah.
versa, it works the other way, like we have this year.
Right, and if technology and there is a bigger interest from investment groups to make generation, obviously that creates more capacity, reduces the cost. But there's things that they're looking like small nuclear reactors, like they're
On the
looking
micro-
at a
sure.
bunch of different stuff right now besides coal and upgrading natural gas facilities, et cetera. So there's a lot.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Do you know anything about whether the tariffs that were just recently applied with Canada, I think they provide some power to the United States. Is that impacting this 9.9% number?
No.
No. So could it jump even more if we can't get the supply from Canada?
The 19.9%, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it. I believe that auction has already been concluded and certified. The caveat now is that there's been a lot of legislators in Trenton who have put forth stuff with the BPU about reducing costs, or is there a way utilities can cover. So that I don't have updates on. They just started talking about it last week. So if there is, obviously we'll share that with everybody. But there is a big push from the Murphy administration to try and find a solution. But that could be the only anticipated change I would see.
Okay.
But no, I have gotten that question before too. So I don't believe there's any portion of First Energy that gets their power from Canada. I don't know where PJM purchases from. That's the problem. So I can't say for certain for them where they get it from.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? That's it, Bob?
All right.
Thank
You're
you.
good.
Thank you for having me. Looking
Get
forward to
back to
working
about
with
that other
you. Yeah,
thing.
the light, please
Yeah.
do. Yeah, and
Appreciate
anything
it.
you need. Again, summer storm season's right around the corner, so anything you guys have as a municipality, if it's yourself as the designated person to contact me, or the OEM or police, just please give them my contact information. Tell them to reach out.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have ordinance 05. Please read the title.
Ordinance 2025-5, calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Have a motion, please?
So moved?
Second.
Okay. And then we have hearing the budgets.
This is the public hearing on this ordinance. Yes, you just have to open this one to the public.
Okay, we'll open it to the public about the budget. As you know, it was online and we presented it last.
This is just for the cap bank right now.
Oh, this is just a cap?
It's just the second reading of
Okay.
that one. Yeah.
Anyone wishing to address council about the cap? Seeing no one? Got a public hearing closed. Roll call?
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Belisca? Aye. Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Okay, resolution 114. Have a motion, please?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Okay, so we've got Resolution 2025-114, Self-Examination of Budget Resolution. New Providence has been declared eligible to participate in the program for 2025 based upon certification of the Chief Financial Officer.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Belisca? Aye. Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Resolution 115. Please read the title.
Resolution to read budget by title. NJSA 40A4-8 provides that the budget may be read by its title only if at least 1 week prior to the date of the hearing and at the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget shall be made available for public inspection and shall be available to each person upon request.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Belisca? Aye. Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Okay, we'll have the municipal budget hearing.
I'll read that.
Go ahead.
Yep. This is the time fixed for public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2025. The budget was introduced by the governing body on March 25th, 2025, was advertised as required by law on April 4th, 2025, together with notice of public hearing for this time. Printed copies have been made available to the public at the Borough Council, at the borough's clerk's office, at the municipal library, and on the borough website during the past month. The 2025 municipal budget that is being heard tonight is summarized as follows. Total general appropriations are $26,573,376.29. Anticipated revenues, $9,179,685,029. Total to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes, $16,134,201. Total tax increase on the average assessed home is 1.97%, which equates to about $87 annually.
Okay, at this time, we'll open a public hearing. This is solely comments on the municipal budget, nothing else. And when you come up, give your name and address, please. Anyone wishing to address council? Seeing no one at the clerk. Oh, okay, Dave?
Hi, my name is Dave Brapel, 325 Elkwood Avenue, and this is a budget question. On March 10th, President Trump signed an executive order moving FEMA responsibilities to state and local governments, including hurricane relief, wildfires, cyber attacks. So I have two questions. Have you ever heard about this, and does it show up in the budget? I know we have a reserve, but I don't think we have a reserve that big to deal with FEMA responsibilities. contacted our congressman about this new responsibility you all now have?
We do have money put aside for FEMA, like we have every other time, and we have put the money in. That's why you have unexpended surplus. As you know, we had 3 bridges knocked out, a couple roads. We had to pay for that. We have to make the request through FEMA. Now FEMA will be going, that money will be going to the states, so you have to go through that. It'll be a different process.
I'm not sure you understand this. They're moving the financial responsibility to you and the state.
What they're
So
doing,
if you're looking for reimbursement, is anything additional in the budget? Because it's a much bigger liability now, right?
there's no additional money in the budgets. If we have to go out and get money, we will have to get money at that time. But FEMA is now going to be put under, my understanding, Homeland Security.
Yes, it is currently under Homeland Security. And to answer my second question, have you reached out to our federal representatives about this? Because I'm sure you're not happy to get this type of responsibility.
What we have done is we have reached out about what kind of grants are coming our way. You have to understand that our municipal budget is 99% through property taxes. It's not through the federal government or the state government, okay? So anything that they cut out will affect us minimally. I believe our taxation rate in town, Jim, is like 98, 99% for property taxes,
Collection?
collection.
99
So-
plus, yeah.
Yeah, 99 plus.
So when we had hurricanes here, we got only de minimis reimbursement?
Dave, like I
Yes.
said, you have to, when we have a hurricane or whatever, we have to pay for all this stuff up front, and then FEMA reimburses us. There's a process. I know you're trying to bring a federal government thing into the local budget. Don't do it. It has nothing to do with this.
Okay, I have your
Please.
answer.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let's keep this up here.
Can I just add, and you guys can jump in, please, but we can't add things to the budget that don't exist, right? We can't create something that doesn't exist. So we can't anticipate that we're gonna have a hurricane and say, let's put aside $100,000 for a potential hurricane. That's not how the municipal budget works. We can't do that. So to answer your question, no, the budget does not include potential issues that may arise that we can't anticipate.
And like we've done in the past, when something does happen, we do have that surplus, and that's why we have it. I feel like we have been questioned before on why we have so much of a surplus. Well, that's why, because when something, if we do have a natural disaster or an emergency, we do dip into that surplus to cover it until we get reimbursed. So we can't really, we're not going to play around with that surplus. But as Matt said, we're not going to, anticipate something that might not happen. We can't build that into the budget.
And that's why we have a AAA bond rating for one, right? So we have a AAA rating because we do anticipate, or we do put monies aside, right, in our surplus to help us in times of need. And when we have had storms, like the mayor had said, we had to pay for those, cleanups and every police action and first responders up front. That money comes out of the monies that we have in our surplus. And then we go and get reimbursed from what we can from the state or the federal government.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Hi, Mark Doherty, 335 Central Avenue. I just had a question. I know the legislator recently allowed municipalities to increase over the 2% cap for property, for their budgets. What is the increase in this year's budget?
1.97
Okay, so you guys were still,
below.
even though you were allowed to go over that number, you maintained
Yes.
a lower.
We've went through this with a fine tooth comb. I know a lot of municipalities around us are way over two. We only tax what we need. We don't look for, you know, a big pie in the sky. So, and like during COVID, where a lot of towns took loans, COVID loans, this and that, we lived within our means. So that's why these budgets, subsequent budgets, we've been able to keep a good line on.
And we had a lot of challenges this year, just so everybody knows. We had, you know, insurance rates were up about 12%. We have health benefits that were up over 5%. We have the or 8%. Statutory raises that go out over 2%. So there's a lot of challenges of increases. I mean, and as everybody knows, in just operating your own home, you know, inflation took a big bite this year. So despite, you know, 8% inflation rates out in the world, we were able to keep this at 1.97. The only way really to get it down even further, I mean, we've cut it down to the bone, as Al would say, but in order to get it down below 1.9, then we're gonna have to start cutting into services or personnel. So, and those are two things that we don't want to do. I mean, people, you know, choose to live in New Providence for, you know, the beauty and for the services and the programs and the neighborly feel, right? Like, and so that is something that we don't want to touch. So what would you cut out? You know, maybe a bulk pickup. We like our bulk pickup, you know. So, and who are we going to cut? Which employee are we going to cut? No, we're not going to do that. So, you know, we've gotten it as lean as possible.
Well, as a new resident, I think it's, you know, I'm thankful for you guys for keeping it at that rate. I agree. I have heard other towns in the surrounding areas that have had a more difficult time with their budgets. And, you know, as somebody with young kids, and like you said, with inflation being as high as it is, I appreciate it staying at within that 2% cap, because it is something that's a little bit more digestible, so.
But we even just heard it from the electric company.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done all the LED lighting, we've done all that kind of stuff years ago. And, you know, it's a fact of life right now. Everything's going up, so.
Well, thank you.
It's been like
Thank
that
you.
for decades. I've never seen it go down.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Okay. Need a
116.
motion?
No, you just move to the next resolution.
What's that?
She can just move to the next one. 116.
Oh, okay.
116.
Before you
Resolution-
move on out, I just, before you move on, I want to say thank you to our finance committee, Lisa, Nadine, and Jim Testa, our CFO in the very back. I think it's a blessing we have Jim kind of helping us with this.
Thanks, Alex. Next resolution, 2025-116, is a resolution adopting the 2025 municipal operating budget for the Borough of New Providence.
Have a motion, please.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Belisca?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
All right. Okay, now we have a special special district budget document. Anybody on council want to have questions about that? No?
Any questions? No. Okay.
Okay. Let's move resolution 117, please.
Resolution 117 is a resolution adopting the 2025 authority budget for the New Providence Special Improvement District, otherwise known as the DID.
Have a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
You want to just open it to the public,
Oh, okay. Anybody wishing to talk about the special improvement district? Seeing no one? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mrs. Belisca?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Okay, need approval of minutes for April 8th.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. Okay, we have correspondence, County of Union, the American Rescue Plan Act. They're gonna cease the funding. Okay, Board of Adjustment, 50 Salem Road, New Providence Fire Department resignation, Jeffrey Knight, and we have a couple because they're going back to school. Okay, New Providence Police Chief Railroad Crossing at Livingston, and I know the chief is here. We got a letter saying that it's working the way it's supposed to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Rebecca Caniglio, about parking and idling on Potter. Amy Miller, she's on the library board of trustees and she has to resign due to personal reasons, and I'd like to thank Amy for her service. Okay, fire department, open house on October 11th, which is always fun. Okay, fire department resignation, Taylor Medeski, State DOT, Safe Routes to School Design Assistance Program, New Jersey American Water, public hearing, proposed cost recovery for lead service line replacement. And fire department resignation of Antonio Gallo and Aiden Fahey. Any comments? No? Okay, go to council business, Kathleen, administration. All right, got it.
Resolution 2025-118 is a resolution of the Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey, adopting a policy for a bench dedication program. It is a new SOP that sets guidelines for a new program that will make the bench selections available to be sponsored by residents. Alex Kogan and I worked on this with Allison Smith. I think we wanted to put it in community activities, and GPW worked hand in hand to talk about this. I think it's an activity that a lot of residents have talked about, beautifying our parks. We do a really good job with keeping up our parks and such. And this is the next step. We've talked about like Centennial Park, when that was created, we had a lot of benches dedicated. People have asked the borough, and Allison has kind of done a pilot over the last couple of years. So the benches will be available for people to purchase. And we're starting off in the by the tennis court area and the new walking path, and then hopefully this program will continue and grow. It seems like it's expensive. The bench, the dollar amount is $2,000, but it has to do with the cost of the bench and the shipping, and if we need to put down a concrete pad to put it on. But kudos to Allison and Ralph working together, doing all the research. I think it'll be a great addition to the town.
And Beautification Committee wants to thank you too, because that was part of their long-term goals of Centennial Park. As we know, Centennial Park is what, 20, 25 years?
It will be 25 years old.
So those benches are,
2027.
yeah, the benches are getting a little worn, so it would be nice to get those spruced up, so everybody buy a bench. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of organizations in town have talked about this. It's been going around the borough offices, so we're really excited about it.
Okay. Engineering, Alex.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-119, resolution approving change order number 1 for grade construction in the amount of $6,282.88 for the New Providence Community Pool Bridge Replacement Project. So this is change order number 1, and hopefully it's the only change order. For additional cost for delivery, because we had to push the project till after the pool season. The bridge has arrived. It came in sections. It's like an erector set. I think it's taken up 4 spots. Because the pool has a lot of chlorine deliveries and need to use the current bridge, the timing just did not work out. So as soon as the community pool stops operations in September, we're going to start erecting the bridge. Part of the problem also I should mention is when the bridge arrives, it's just a steel deck bridge. You have to pour concrete over it. Concrete has a curing time. You can't just pour the concrete and let trucks drive over it. So I believe in this particular one, it's 3 to 4 weeks of curing time.
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't have worked out to try to fit this in before the pool opened.
It was funny, we were talking to the engineer, and they had this high industrial strength concrete.
Yeah.
Said it would cure it, but they said, well, you still gotta wait like 3 weeks.
Right.
Or if you drive over, it'll start coming up. I said, just wait till the fall. Okay, finance, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-120 is a resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2025 budget pursuant of NJSA 40A4-87, Chapter 159, PL 1948, County of Union 2025 Infrastructure and Municipal Aid Grant. This is, what this means basically is that we're inserting $50,000 into the budget to be used for road paving. We have Resolution 2025-121, a resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2025 budget pursuant of NJSA 40A4-87, Chapter 151, PL 1948, Recycling Tonnage Grant. This is inserting $16,389.66 into the budget to be used exclusively for the recycling program. Examples include maintenance of municipal drop-off center, salary, and costs related directly to education and outreach of the municipal recycling program or to the enforcement of local recycling ordinance. Next, we have Resolution 2025-122. Again, it's a resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2025 budget pursuant of NJSA 40A4-87, Chapter 159, National Opioid Settlement 2025. This is inserting $845.36 into the budget to be used for opioid remediation. Next, we have Resolution 2025-123 is a resolution authorizing payment of the attached bills payable list. The amount is $423,393.47. Some of the more significant items are Dakota Paving for $141,555. Final pickleball court payment. We have Suburban Disposal for $45,333. That's our March solid waste disposal charge. Vollers Excavating and Construction, $21,200 for leaf disposal. UC Utilities Authority for $19,854, solid waste disposal. We have Rapid Pump and Meter for $13,440. That is for the wastewater treatment plant pumps number 1 and 2. And then finally, Minor LTD, $11,500 for the DeCorso garage door replacement. Next, we have Resolution 2025-124 is a resolution supporting application submissions for the Union County Capital Project Grant for 2025. This grant program is designed to stimulate the development of local capital projects of economic, transportation, or government importance to local municipalities. Only capital projects with a total cost above $100,000 will be considered. Funds need to be fully expended by September 30th of 2025, and we are going to be requesting $500,000 from this grant, which we would like to use towards our new public works facility.
Okay,
One more. Resolution 2025-125. It's a resolution authorizing the cancellation of grant funds receivable and appropriated.
okay, we have a limousine application, Summit Express, Raja Shakur, and the application has been properly prepared and reviewed. Public Works, Matt.
Thank you. Resolution 126 is a resolution accepting bids and then awarding a contract to Evaqua Water Technologies LLC for the purchase and delivery of odor control chemicals in the amount not to exceed $89,040. If you remember last week, or last meeting, we passed an ordinance to go out to bid for this. This is the chemicals that go in the water to help save the corrosion on the pipes as well as knock down the odor that's coming out of the wastewater treatment plant. Resolution 127 is a resolution amending contract with D'Onofrio and Son, Inc. Landscaping. This is for grass cutting services and related work for our municipally owned properties. We are just amending the bid that we've approved. There was one small parcel that was left out, so we're adding that to the contract.
Okay. We have committee reports. The only thing I really have is the fishing derby is Saturday, and unfortunately it's supposed to rain, but let's hope for the best. Starts at 8 o'clock.
This Saturday?
This Saturday.
Yep.
Of course it's gonna rain.
Yeah, it always does.
Register.
So, but it's a good time for all, and I know the PBA does a great job running that. And they had the prescription take back this past weekend, which was good. And they do that twice a year, April and October.
Diane, Matt stopped by. It was an amazing amount of turnout. I was surprised how many people actually do bring it back.
It's amazing how many bags.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, that's all I have. Except fire department's having their open house on October, I guess, right? So, okay. Nadine.
Thank you, Mayor. So in case anybody missed that whole time that we were talking, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So keep your eye up. We are gonna keep your eyes open. We're gonna be getting a banner across Springfield Avenue down by the pool. Funding for that came from the Kimberly Ann Wilson Foundation. So we are part of a 10-town coalition for mental health awareness, and we work with the nonprofit agencies to fund different activities. One of which, again, is going to be that great banner that's going to be across Springfield Avenue. So we thank them. There are also signs that were funded by the Rotary Society. If you look on our, do we have that on the Borough webpage, the Rotary?
Yes.
If you look on,
to order the sign?
to order the
We
sign.
do.
So if you would like to order a sign, you can go onto our Borough webpage.
And Facebook page.
And Facebook page. They are $20 a piece, and this year they come with a green light bulb. So we're asking everybody to put their house lights green as well. So we're gonna paint the town green along with the rest of our coalition. So just keep your eyes open for those, and hope you can celebrate with that somehow. Historical Society, I just had their meeting last week, another very passionate group of individuals who have a lot of things to say. I could probably go on a lot longer about what it is that they are working on, but just I want to put a date out there. Saturday, May the 10th is the annual craft fair from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it is at the Salt Box Museum. So stay tuned for that as well, and that's all I have.
If you wanted to be a crafter or have a table,
Yes.
is that an
Good
option?
point. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. It is an option.
Can you tell us how to do that?
No, yes. So volunteers are needed. So far, we have 8 crafters registered, but more crafters are available. I believe if you go on the Facebook page for the Historical Society, you can do that. They also are looking for volunteers for setup, takedown, bakers to bake, and members of the society are going to be manning those tables. So if you look on their Facebook page, more information if crafters would like to be included. It's a great event.
Good, Alex.
Sustainability Committee update. I shared this info with all of council. We received our preliminary report for the Sustainable Jersey certification. As you know, we're trying to get silver status, which requires a lot of work. So our chairman, Doug Sullivan, and borough employees but Bernadette and Allison are doing layman's work here. The person that reviewed our application is going to get probably a master's degree in how to look at applications. She's doing a very thorough job. And we have to resubmit even photos that used to be good, now have to be retaken. So it's a lot of follow-up that is required. Our deadline is May 15th. We have a plan of attack. Everybody's got their assignments of the things we have to, the information we have to provide. I think there might be one resolution in the next council meeting that kind of helps us. That has to do with the charging stations. But full steam ahead, and that's going pretty well. Maybe just another sustainability item, the shredding event. That's sponsored by the Borough, Union County, and the Sustainability Committee. That's on the 18th of May, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can bring up to 4 bags or 4 boxes. Leave it, that will shred it for you. I think you can go back in line if you have more boxes. Nobody's going to stop you, but it's a wonderful event. I know I'm saving up my paper products, or paper, old taxes and things like that. So great event. Hope people participate.
Drop-off is here for our
The high school, I believe, at the parking lot. I believe so.
parking lot.
Pool parking lot. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, next to the new bridge.
Thank you. So, public art, we have art installation, actually for those 2 art sculptures I spoke about in previous meetings. The artist is Dennis Falls. We are installing them on Tuesday, May 6th, somewhere around 1 p.m. He's driving, I think, from Pennsylvania, so we don't know when they'll be here exactly, but we put it on the calendar, so if you guys are interested in coming out and seeing the installation, please do. The two sculptures, the Seafoam resting spot, that's going to be at Harmony Park, and Yellow, that's going to be at the Saltbox Museum by the community gardens.
Is it going to be on Springfield Avenue or behind, or like by, you're saying by?
By the gardens.
By the garden, so like on the
In
other
the
side
back,
of the.
yeah.
Poured the
Silver.
pad. I saw him
Yeah.
pour the pad already.
Yeah, DPW has been prepping up for that.
Yeah, it's always neat. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's neat to meet the artists and talk to them while they're installing
They
it.
always have interesting stories.
Yeah.
Historical preservation, you know, they meet every month. They're still continuing with their collection of information on homes that they're deeming that are historical significance. So more to come with that. The planning board, we didn't have a meeting for the planning board, but I did want to note that, well, we're having a meeting next Tuesday. Amanda, who's our borough attorney, is going to be giving us a nice refresher on what our jobs are on the planning board, which is great. There are a few applications that will be coming up in May and June, so if you're interested, pay attention, and I will mention them as soon as I get more information on those. Community pool, just wanted to mention, we've been talking about for a long time. We've met with the community pool, and I think we've gotten to a great place with them and should be finalizing the lease and executing that hopefully at the next meeting. You know, just want to say, you know, since COVID, the community pool has not had the best of applications, right, and attendance over the years, and it's been very difficult, you know, working with them to very difficult for them. So working with them to try to make sure that they are successful. We really want them to be successful, and we want to make sure that they're offering one of the best products to the borough residents. So. That lease will come out, and I'll give some details on some of the changes that we went through for them to you know, make them successful. I thought, you know, Tim, the pool board president, made a very interesting comment. He said that you know, 10 years ago, in a hot July day, the pool would be packed and cars would be parked down the side streets to get into the pool. You know, and today, on a hot July day, you know, there's still plenty of parking. So just that visual impact really, you know, is significant. So, you know, the pool's a phenomenal place. All of our kids been, you know, I'm sure, you know, all you guys have brought all your kids there as well. And, you know, we're, you know, working with them and hoping that they continue to prosper and get better and invest, you know, in the pool as they go forward.
Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. So Nadine filled you all in on mental health, which has been really time-consuming. since the last council meeting. Besides that, we had a library board meeting last week, and always stuff going on at the library. As you know, you can check the website. They have 1 million programs going on all the time, multiple per day. Just such a dedicated staff and friends of the library. They do a lot. But besides that, if you're around, just go check out. They just keep improving the aesthetics inside the library. They've added, they've gotten rid of those long rectangular tables that made it hard to sit at and study at. And they added 14 square tables, so you can push them together if you have a bigger group. But most people don't have big groups. They're sitting 1 or 2 people taking up anyway. Then they've also added 2 study rooms, which are right by the entrance, and they're glassed in, and they're quiet, and they're private, and you can sign up to reserve space in those study rooms, which is something new and much needed. Besides that, as you know, the library has been talking about expanding. We went out to the DEP, and they told us we couldn't expand back because of the Indiana bat, that was it. The Indiana bat that might come into New Providence. So they had to reassess what they were going to do. They've been working with an architect that specializes with libraries, and we received a new plan that goes out a little bit into the parking lot just a little bit, and then out into the front, and it really looks beautiful. The next step would be to get a rendering and pricing. So that is the next step. They do have a surplus in the library funds that they've been kind of squirreling away over the years to pay for some of these initial costs. When the plan is done, signed, and sealed, then starts the fundraising for it. Of course, the library doesn't have, the $10 million to build the library. They are going to hopefully put together a foundation to raise money, and it's going to take a while. So they anticipate that it's a 5 to 10 year plan to get this all done. But it is all going to be fundraising to get that done.
Okay. Diane?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the library is wonderful. Friends of the Library actually always have these great events and such. And Malathi, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. She actually has a quilt exhibit going on, which is beautiful. So if anybody, you're in the library, they're unbelievable. So her opening was going to be. Just an aside, April 20th to the 26th was Volunteer Week, and we have a lot of amazing volunteers in our borough, so we just wanted to give a shout out, especially our EMS, fire, our council advisory committees, our boards, our commissions, and there are a lot of new nonprofits in New Providence, scouting, PTA, CSA, so thank you so much for everybody who has volunteered to make our borough what it is. I'm going to say, go to the source, our website, our Instagram, and our Facebook page. Community activities, Al talked about the fishing derby. It is May 3rd at 8 a.m. Kids 15 and under, but adults must accompany their children, and you can register via Community Pass, which again is on our website. Alex talked about the Sustainability Committee and the Union County Commissioners and the shredding event. The Memorial Day Parade will be held rain or shine on Monday, May 26th, beginning at 10 a.m. If your group would like to march in the parade, please reach out to the rec department. And registration is open for all of our recreation summer camps and classes, again, on Community Pass. We have put a lot of our projects on our, again, borough website, and that is under the community tab, project updates, things like the pool bridge, the police department renovation, the DPW renovation. These are all on the website. So if you want to look at it, please do. And you can always reach out to the borough if you have any questions. we had a really amazing meeting for Revolution 250, or America's 250th anniversary. Everything is going great. We hope to have a logo, mission statement, goals, and potential events at our next meeting. You talked about beautification. We talked about DID. Board of Ed, again, go to their website for complete information. Their budget was approved. Obviously, the timing is very similar to our budget. They're finishing up their strategic planning sessions. There was one tonight. And congratulations to Michael Crisatello, who is the new middle school principal. Also at the last Board of Ed meeting, there was a finance action approving the transfer of NPTV to the Borough of New Providence. So we'll have some exciting information about that in the next couple months. And I think that's everything.
Hey, Al, can I just want to add for the fishing derby, right? It's one of my favorite free family events. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make it Saturday either.
No, you'll go Friday night.
I'll be picking my daughter up.
With your waiters.
No, I won't be Friday night, but I just wanted to a public service announcement, I guess, right? The Derby's fun, and the kids have a great time, and the PBA gives them great prizes, so, they get the big lunkers. There's usually about 5 or 6 of them in there.
6.
But they don't catch all the fish, right? So those fish are still there for the next week maybe, right? So if you do have a small child and you can't make the Derby, I encourage you to take them down and go fishing at the pond. And it's a great experience for the kids. My kids grew up going to the Derby, and they absolutely love it. And my daughter, who's 23 years old, graduated from college, has a full-time job, still wants to go fish, and I told her she can't. It's not fair. And I did also just one thing I did forget was we were invited to the New Providence Cricket Club Holy Festival / barbecue that they had, and I just want to thank them for they're just great community partners. They invite mayor and council to go to their events. They get very excited when we show up, and are happy to have us, and we get to learn a lot about not only the cricket, which I had no idea what cricket was about until we got involved with these guys, but also their culture. Now you gave a great speech about how, many years ago, the Indian population of New Providence was what it is today, and it's really, really neat to be able to just participate in a lot of the cultural events from all of our groups. But our cricket club, they just do a really great job of involving the community, so I just want to thank them for that.
Okay, Kathleen?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to go back, if I could, to get a clarification on Resolution 2025-124. This was about the Union County Capital Project Grant. So we're applying for that grant, and if we get it, I think Lisa said the funds need to be fully expended by September 30th, 2025.
It's 26.
It should be 26, right?
26.
Okay, because we may not even hear back about the grant by then. Okay, so just wanted to make that clarification. In terms of my committee reports for Diversity Committee, Councilman Alex Cogan and I have concluded our meetings with almost 24 community members and leaders, and we're in the process of convening a relaunch meeting of the Diversity Committee in the next few weeks. We just want to thank everybody that we met with, took the time to meet with us, look forward to working together for diversity goals in New Providence. I was going to also mention the Holy event that some of us went to. That was my first time experiencing the colorful celebration, and I enjoyed so much learning about that tradition. And it was a really windy day, so the paint was going everywhere.
The food was very good too.
The food was awesome, but there was no one spared just because the wind was taking the paint everywhere. It was great. Thank you to the Cricket Club as well. And I wanted to give an early heads up to the council and residents about a Unity Fair that's going to be held at the New Providence High School cafeteria on Sunday, June 7th from 4 to 6 p.m. This event is actually being planned by New Providence High School students and alumni with oversight from the former Diversity Committee Chair, Sunil Abral, and other community leaders. And so representatives from that team will be coming here to our May 13th Borough Council meeting to talk about their goals for the event and invite everybody to attend. In terms of Municipal Alliance, Union County held the 2025 Annual Municipal Alliance Volunteer of the Year ceremony in Union last Tuesday, April 22nd. So our committee chair, Ralph Parmigiani, and our committee coordinator, Liz Lee, represented New Providence very well as they spoke about the contributions our committee secretary, Mike Iacovelli, has made to the committee over the years, and he was nominated as the Volunteer of the Year. He came in second, so he didn't get the award, and he also caught some kind of virus, so he wasn't able to come to the ceremony. But we do thank you publicly, Mike, for everything that you've done for the Alliance Committee. And a reminder that that group, the Alliance Group, will be having a table at the upcoming Senior Health Fair at the DeCorso Center on May 14th from 9:30 to 11. So those are my committee updates, but I just wanted to acknowledge the efforts of the Finance Committee, our Borough Administrator, Bernadette Cuccaro, and our Chief Financial Officer, Jim Testa, to prepare the 2025 budget that most effectively supports the operations of the borough and protects the interests of our taxpayers. So thank you so much for all that hard work. And then I see that there's a lot of people in the crowd. Just want to say thank you for coming. It's nice to see some faces in the crowd, and looking forward to hearing what you guys have to ask us about or talk about. Thank you.
Okay, Bernadette.
Thank you, Mayor. South Street Water Main Replacement Project. I just would like to extend our thanks to New Jersey American Water, the County of Union, Carocia Paving, and everyone at the borough who worked hard to get that project to completion. There was a lot of work in coordinating that paving project. The Passaic Street Bridge, I spoke to the contractor this week. The work on the bridge is progressing as scheduled. The demolition of the superstructure has been completed, and the contractor is working on the repairs to the existing pier and abutments, which is going to take place it's going to take several weeks to complete. The new beams for the bridge are in production at the concrete recasters facility and would anticipate the installation of them to begin in May or June. The projected completion of this bridge is the fall of 2025 at this point. The Municipal Center roof project, the contract will be back next week with a lift. He's going to be repairing and painting the cornice around the top of this building, and then we will be able to close that project out. That's all I have.
Boy, that bridge can't come too soon. Okay, this is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about the issues that are not separate topics scheduled for public hearings tonight. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to be all to be heard, speakers, we're asked to limit your comments to 3 minutes and may only speak once on any one topic. And please, when you come up, give your name and address. Anybody wishing to address? Yes, Linda.
Linda Gleason, 118 Woodbine Circle. The monitor on that side that faces the back of the room doesn't work, and it hasn't worked for some time. So if you're sitting on that side, you can't see presentations. So if you could attend to that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I noticed the one up here is not working either, so.
That's what we were
Anyone else? Seeing no one? Oh, yeah, Jim.
Sure. So,
evening, everybody.
Hey, Jim.
Been a while.
Address.
Jim Madden, 324 Charnwood Road. I wanted to first thank you guys for doing an outstanding job on a budget. Tough year, tough circumstances. I read about all of the budgets going around the vicinity, all the surrounding towns. Guys come through with flying colors. Awesome job. I wanted to let you know I'm the purple guy. I support the Old-Timers Association. So we raised $450,000 through the Ride to End Alls. That'll be Saturday, May 3rd. I'll be taking a hike down to Virginia. Hopefully it's not going to rain, but I'll be doing try to run my age, or try to ride my age, I should say. And we'll see how it goes. I did have a meeting with Congressman Kane, to ask for his support in signing on to the Credit for Caring Act, which is a $5,000 credit annually for a family who's a caregiver of an Alzheimer's patient. And I just want to remind everybody that Alzheimer's is not an old person's disease. We lost a friend of mine last December at the age of 62. A friend of mine, age 63, has Lewy body dementia. So it's a very important cause that I'm involved in. I want to really thank everyone from New Providence who donated and sponsored my ride effort. It's amazing when I just send out something on Facebook and people just show up. I mean, this is what makes this town the awesome town that it is. When people can rise to the occasion and see an effort and get behind it. And people I don't even know or have sponsored and donated this cause. I will be wearing the #1 bib. I'm the top fundraiser for this event.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So, third time in 4 years that I have rode with the #1 bib. But I just want to really thank this community for really being more than it ever could have been. You know, when I came here in 1990, we found a house, and I'd never stepped foot in this town, ever. And it's probably the most fascinating thing that's ever happened to us. To be able to raise your family here. All of the things that this community has done for us is just really amazing. And I thank people like yourselves who put the time together, take it away from your families to serve this community. It's very much appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, your work with the Alzheimer's is so important. I mean, you have the victims, but I think it impacts the families more than the victims. The victims really,
Every 66 seconds, Al,
yeah,
a brain is taken.
yeah, it's a,
Those people will be women.
right.
Nobody knows why, but we have to find out why.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. So, okay, anyone else? Seeing no one, I declare the public comments closed, and I need a motion for items 1 through 11, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Belisca?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No?
Yes.
So be it. Thank you, everyone.